Hello again, everyone. Hope you are well on this Sunday afternoon. Got Miss Dog with me.
Hello.
Sidekick. And we just finished a Costco run. Not major, but some prep stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
Always prepare. Always. Always be preparing, right? We are in the fall is in progress. I believe we need to continue preparing. Prepare for the squeeze show. I could use a stronger word there. Before I go any further, I do have a terrific passage I'm going to share with you that Mrs. Dog picked out for me. It's excellent. I made a post this morning on the community page of my channel, saying that I'm going to do a series starting today on preparing the basics. There's so many facets of preparation that I'm going to go over a lot of them in these upcoming videos. We'll start today. Some of them we could do more of a deep dive into. Some of them, especially things that I know more about. But I don't know everything by any means. So you guys probably know more than I do. So chime in the comments as well. But there's so many facets to it, to preparation. Unless you've been under a rock and asleep, you know that it's becoming more important than ever to have some preparation going. And I'm hearing from a lot of people that they are starting to do more prepping, and they're asking like, well, what are the basics? What do I need to start doing? How do I even start? Should I even start? I say, yes, please start. It's never too late. In my book, I know a lot of people may disagree, but I think it's never too late to start, and now's as good a time as any. Because if you start now, or even last week, or yesterday, or today, you're already in a better position than the majority of yahoos out here. Okay? I'm going to cover different aspects of prepping in different videos. I may try to double up and do a couple of them. But there's so many. There's spiritual, there's food, water, there's security, there's medical, there's communications, there's physical aspect to it, there's skills, educational, mental health. I will say this, that in my work, a lot of the work that we do on the team that I'm part of is intervention, crisis intervention. And when we work with individuals, when I look at the United States, y'all, if I look at the United States as an individual, and the United States is not alone in this. There's other countries too. It's worldwide. But focusing down on the United States, you could even put just North America in that. I would determine that the United States is in a crisis, and it requires an intervention because it is a danger to itself and others. Absolutely. What do you think?
That's good. I agree.
It needs to be 1013 like a year ago. Way more, years ago. Okay.
Tell them what that means, because they don't know what that means.
That means that you have no choice. You are being taken in because you're a danger.
Evaluation.
You're going to be further evaluated because you've been deemed a danger to yourself or others. Okay. And what this series is about, and it'll go on for a while, it's not just like 2-3 videos, is a discussion about how to mitigate this. Because every time you walk out of your home, you're dealing with it. No matter where you go. Or anytime you turn on TV, look at social media, you're going to be dealing with it. Okay? You probably already have. So that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to try to stay away from politics as best I can. Because at this point, it's not productive. I think we need to focus on just preparation and mitigating this world that we live in. I'm going to start with spiritual because I believe that's where it starts, especially for us believers. I think that's the most important to have as a foundation because everything flows from that as believers. Your faith. Now, most of us here are Christians. Not all of us might be other religions. But your faith should be number one. And even though God, and people will say, well, God was going to provide for me. I don't need to do anything else. I vehemently disagree with that. I believe that God will provide for us. He is providing for us. He's provided us with a brain, and to be and a call to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And He's provided us the ability to provide for ourselves and our families and our community, as in the days of Noah and Joseph. And many others. And, prepping or prepper has that connotation, has that negative on it. Not as much as it used to. But in reality, people say, well, you're a hoarder. You're a hoarder. No. I mean, in fact, your ancestors most likely were preparedness or prolific preppers. They just didn't call them that. Especially in the 1930s. I think we need to be living like we in the 1930s are preparing like we are in that, because we are, in my opinion. We are in a modern day 1930s. Just my opinion. But like I said, I'm going to try to stay away from from being divisive. I want to try to be helpful here, and please chime in the comments with your feedback and your what you do too, because I can't cover everything. What works for you. So, but spiritual is number one. It's so important. And by the way, where are the pastors? I know there are good pastors out there. I know there are exceptions, but Ms. Dog and I, we would like to go, and it could be a small church, but it can be, but a pastor that's not afraid to talk about what is going on in this world today. Not afraid to rock the boat. I think what you run into with your traditional churches, don't matter the affiliation, don't matter the Baptist, Methodist, non-denom, it don't matter. So many of them are afraid to step on toes. They're afraid to rock the boat, and they don't want to go there. They might dance around it a little bit. They're dancing around it. They're dancing, but they don't want to. They don't want to go full on. Now there are some, and I hear from some of you, you're like, yeah, I go to a church that's just like. I mean, they not afraid to go there or even talk about end days or end times. I think a lot of pastors are afraid to go there. They don't want to scare people. They don't want to run them off. I get that. However, if you're a pastor, you cannot just hide from this. There's judgment too. And we can prepare. We can, and spiritual is number one. We are in a, and number one is them saying and acknowledging we are in a spiritual battle right now more than ever. So, I think United States is following steps that we see in history with many countries, even ancient Rome, to a lot of Western, a lot of European countries, even others as well, to where you have a disappearing middle class that is fast disappearing, okay? To where these countries, including the United States, and we're on this path too, we're well into it, to where they once had a very robust middle class that were doing well. And after some time, there's corruption, there's taxation without representation. We kind of mentioned this. We touched on it yesterday. The culture is destroyed. You got the wide open gates at the border. You got a mess on your hands. And so you got inflation, you got prices that are out, you got people priced out of things. Doesn't matter your race, your religion, your political affiliation, you're all getting hurt by inflation. In some cases like Germany, in 1930s Germany, it went into hyperinflation. In some cases, like in France with the French Revolution, it turned extremely, let's say, sporty. We'll put it that way. And they rose up and it got really messy. And in Russia, too. And in a lot of those cases, the middle class still got destroyed, just in a different way, in a different fashion. And it took many years to kind of stabilize somewhat. So I believe we're on that path. It remains to be seen how it's going to really settle out, you know. But anyway, back to this. So spiritual, also food, water. You know, that's where it starts. We have to have water to survive. Especially water. That's number one. We have air. We got to have water, and food, shelter, of course. But water, if you can store water, but it's heavy and it takes up space, and you can do that. We do that. You can do barrels. We have rain barrels too. You know, I don't care if they're outlawed. I don't think they are where we are.
No.
Not in Georgia, but do it anyway. Camouflage it.
Yep.
You know, do a Desert Storm camouflage or something. I don't know.
Put plants on top of it or something.
Put plants on. There you go. I like that. Just do it. Just do it. You can store it, but if you're near a creek, if you have a well, that's awesome. Creek or other water sources have some filtration. I know people talk about Berkey filters. We don't have one of those, but I heard they're great. You can do something as simple as these, the mini Sawyer filtration. Better than nothing.
Or Life Straw is another brand.
Life Straw is another brand. Either one. I kind of like this one a little better, but Life Straw is fine too. But even something like this is good. We have multiple on hand. Even for like, a weather event, like a natural disaster. And when I talk about preparation, I'm focusing a little more. Now, we'll go into the series, we'll talk about not necessarily the zombie apocalypse, but your more unlikely events. But I'm thinking more of your likely events, your weather events, your natural disasters, your, things like that happen, that, unemployment, an illness, power outage. That's a big one. Power outage, internet and everything's out and gone. Do you have at least a small generator? Solar or gas powered, or both. A small generator. Don't have to be the mega Generac, where you stand out in the neighborhood and everybody knows you got something. And if you have a generator, you got to be careful with that, with the noise and everything. So, but even a temporary power outage is good to have something. Food, water. Okay, water. I was talking about water. Filtration is big. Food. Your non-perishables. Where's mine? I got those. Your non-perishables. Things that you eat too. Things that you will eat. Your family eats. Grow what you can grow. Dehydrate if you can. You can dehydrate. Freeze. Store in a cool place if possible. That's not real hot. Honey. I think honey is great to have.
Yeah, it lasts forever.
It'll last forever. Honey, all your stuff like your salt and that kind of stuff too as well. Mm-hmm. Good salt. Canned goods. If you're starting out, that's probably one of the easiest way to do it. Get canned goods. A wide variety. Meat, protein. We picked up some canned chicken and canned Vienna sausages a while ago. In bulk. Quick protein. It's easy. It lasts for a long time. Canned goods will last well beyond what they stamp on there, that date they stamp on it, especially if it's sealed. If it's not the pop top don't last quite as, it'll still last longer than the date, but if it doesn't have the pop top in a sealed can, then man, years and years. So you can spend money on the dehydrated, the stuff like your the places you order from and all that, but we don't have a lot of that. We got some. But, if you have a camp stove with propane, charcoal grill with charcoal, your firewood, a source, a way to cook, a way to heat something, then you're good. Don't forget things that are pleasurable, like your candy, even a hard candy, or coffee, stuff like that.
If you have kids, you need to think about them for snacks.
That's a great point. If you have kids, you got to think about that, and board games, things like that. Lighters, manual can openers,
pet food.
Pets. Don't forget about the pets. They require food too, because they can't eat everything we eat, and their meds. I mentioned generators, coffee, candy, that kind of stuff. Your cans, your pasta, your rice. When you go to the store, and I know, other channels talk about this, but in case for those of you who don't watch other channels, some of the channels, we've been doing this for years. When you go to the store, if you get some canned goods, pick up extra. Especially if you're like a Costco or something, pick up several cans of it, if your budget allows. Okay. A way to cook something, like I said, food preservation. If you can can things good, if you can learn how, that's a skill. It's a great skill to do it. We eat out. Talking on the subject of food, we eat out a lot more sparingly than we used to. It's a special occasion kind of thing. Don't totally deprive yourself of it, though. Special occasions, or just a way to treat yourself. Get that coffee. I do it, once a week.
But you don't go to fancy coffee.
I don't go to Starbucks, places like that. I'm Quick Trip, McDonald's,
cheap coffee,
or the local place, or whatever, and it's good. I don't know what they put in Quick Trip coffee, but man, it's got some extra than what I make at home. I just get a medium too. I don't even get a big tall one, but I get a medium and I drink that, and I'm like,
yeah, you're addicted.
I'm like, I'm ready to go now. I'm in the work zone at that point. If I got to do some documentation at work and I'm kind of dragging that day, if I get one of them coffees, man, I'm in a zone for a couple of hours. I can knock it out. I don't know. Anyway, meals that stretch, your basic ingredient meals. Think about it. Depression era cooking. There's tons of videos out there. We've been watching them on how they cooked Depression era meals that are cheap, that you can do with things that you have in your pantry already. Keep it basic.
Soups, stews, casseroles.
Yes.
Things like that.
Soup, stews, casseroles, things that stretch, things, no waste. Eat leftovers, pack your lunch, pack your snacks. Make your desserts, make all that stuff. Keep it simple. What else? Am I missing anything? There's so many different ways you can go with food. I can't cover everything. I'm leaving out a lot probably. But water, food, and like I said, the things that you indulge in, your chocolate, that kind of stuff, keep it somewhere. Special occasion, so but yeah, think about all those things. I'm going to go to a verse here in just a little while, but share your comments, share what you're doing if you're doing something different in this kind of stuff. Okay, all right. Are we good, Miss Dog?
I think so.
Got to wander around our vehicle here.
I think so.
But some other things I'm going to cover, I'm going to talk about security, self-defense, communications. There's so many things we can cover, y'all. All right. Put some suggestions out there, too. I'm going to go to a passage. I'm going to Psalm. This is classic. Psalm chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Amen. Thank you. We are in different times right now, y'all. Not too unlike, I think, in a way that some of our ancestors went through. But He is with us. Our faith is our rock. It's what we hold on to. It's what we start our day out with, right? And end our day with, and keeping in prayer and keeping that top shelf, right? What else? What do you think? Any other thoughts?
Give us your suggestions of what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, give us your suggestions. Prepping wise.
Yep.
Now we're not. There's also other ways you can go into this building, and I'm not a builder. This dog's probably more of a builder than I am.
Gardening.
You got it. Gardening. That kind of stuff. Repairs. That kind of. Medical. We're not. There are things that. We're all better at some things than others, so we can still talk about it, but it's not like I'm going to go out there and demonstrate putting a deck in or nothing like that. No. I can't.
No, but we're looking into herbal medicine and stuff.
Herbal
like
medicine, yeah, herbal. You do a lot of medicinal stuff.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that sometime.
You really do.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I hope this was helpful. Now, I will say, I meant to mention this at the top. Even though we're focusing on, more down on prepping, not the political stuff, I'm still going to report. I will still report like big breaking news, big items, things that are going on, and weigh in on that, but in a more of a preparedness-minded way, more of a talk about it in a non-partisan way. You know what I mean? Like make you aware of things. Just say it and report it. Okay?
Like the old days when they did the news.
I miss those old days to where
Walter
Cronkite. I say concrete Cronkite. They just reported the news, man. They just reported what was going on. I mean, man, that's a big trailer.
Squirrel.
Dang. Dude, you could live in that. Anyway, share your thoughts. Hit the hype button, hit the like button. Stay close to Jesus. God bless you. I'll see you soon.